Hello. So, today there's an interesting interview in CNN, which is very, very, very unusual. Came from CNN. There's this interview by Wolf Blitzer. Is interviewing Nancy Pelosi. So, it just that seems to be Wolf Blitzer sided with Republicans to this matter. So basically, there's a discussion. There's a long discussion about the stimulus package during the coronavirus. So, long story short, you know, you know how U.S. Senate works. The the House Republican try to pass the stimulus bill, and the Democrats keep blocking it because the Democrats have the majority of the votes. The bills cannot be passed. It's like it's a long discussion. So today, Nancy Pelosi showed up on CNN. Basic CNN is very liberal. They known to very liberal. They're known to be anti-Trump, in fact. But today is interesting because seems like Wolf Blitzer pushing Nancy Pelosi to push this stimulus that proposed by Republican Party, Republican Senate and Representative. It's interesting. Let's see this clip. Let's see.
Them in the eye, Madam Speaker, and explain why you don't want to accept the president's latest stimulus offer.
Well, because, thank you very much, Wolf, and I hope you'll ask the same question of the Republicans about why they don't really want to meet the needs of the American people. But let me say to those people, because all of my colleagues, we represent these people. I have for over 30 years represented my constituents. I know what their needs are. I listen to them, and their needs are not addressed in the president's proposal.
Politicians say the same.
So when you say to me, why don't you accept theirs, why don't they accept ours? Our legislation is there to do three things primarily: to honor our workers, honor our heroes, our healthcare workers, our police and fire first responders, our teachers, our transportation, sanitation, food workers, the people who make our lives work. We couldn't be doing what we're doing without them. Many of them have risked their lives so that to save lives, and now they will lose their jobs because Mitch McConnell says let the states go bankrupt.
Excuse me for interrupting.
Let the states go bankrupt.
Madam Speaker, but they really need the money right now, and even members of your own.
I understand that, but
even members of your own caucus. Even members of your own caucus, Madam Speaker, want to accept this deal. $1.8 trillion, Congressman Ro Khanna.
Wait a second.
Basically pay any bills,
because
the coronavirus hit us hard.
He just said this. He said people in need can't wait until
Even it's
February.
$200 a month.
$1.8 trillion is significant and more than twice the
time.
Obama stimulus. Make a deal. Put the ball in McConnell court. So what do you say to Ro Khanna?
What I say to you is, I don't know why you're always an apologist, and many of your colleagues apologists for the Republican position. Ro Khanna, that's nice. That isn't what we're going to do, and nobody's waiting till February. I want this very much now, because people need help now. But it's no use giving them a false thing. Just because the president wants to put a check with his name on it in the mail, that we should not be doing all we can to help people pay the rent, put food on the table, to enhance benefits, that they don't lose their jobs if they're state and local, we're talking about the consequences of a pandemic, that the symptoms of a problem that the president refuses to address.
But you know,
and that is the coronavirus.
We know
that is
we
the
know
coronavirus.
the problem out there, but there are millions of Americans who have lost their jobs. They can't pay the rent. Their kids need the food.
That's right, and that's what we're trying to get done.
$1.8 trillion, and the president just tweeted, stimulus,
Wolf's
go
got
big
a point.
or
I
go
mean,
home.
Nancy
He wants
kind of
even
like,
more
she's really
now. So
loyal to screw
why
up
not
Trump.
work out a deal with him?
Like,
don't let the perfect, as they
she
say here in Washington, be
the
the enemy of the
idea
good.
of screwing Trump more than
Well, I will not let the wrong be the
giving
enemy
money
of the
to
right.
What's
to
wrong
her
with
constituents.
$1.8 trillion?
It just doesn't.
Well, you know what?
I don't
Do you
know,
have any idea what the
it's
difference
classic
is between the
politician.
spending that
That's
they
why
have
I
in their
hate
bill and that we
establishment
have in our
politicians.
bill?
I mean,
Do you realize
pro
that they
and
have come
cons
back and said all these things for
of
child tax
established
credits and earned income tax
politicians,
credits, for helping people who have lost their jobs
this one
are
the weakness,
eliminated
they,
in
they
their bill?
seem
Do you realize they pay no
more
respect
loyal
to the
their
fact that
party
child
than
care is
the
very important for people whose
that
children
they're
cannot go to
supposed to
school
represent?
because they're doing remote learning, and yet they minimize the need for child care, which is the threshold with which people, mothers and fathers, can go to work if they have that. Do you have any idea of how
That's precisely
just
why, Madam
woefully
Speaker.
short they're concerned?
That's why it's so important right now. Yesterday I spoke to Andrew Yang, who says the same thing. It's not everything you want,
but you know what?
there's a lot there.
Honest to God, you really, I can't get over it, because Andrew Yang, he's lovely. Ro Khanna, he's lovely. They are not negotiating this situation. They have no idea of the particulars. They have no idea of what.
So basically, long story short, the discussion going like that. Blitzer pushes Pelosi into basically pass the stimulus fund, and Pelosi kind of explained it to the. I don't know. Pelosi kind of want to explain to the people and Wolf that, hey man, there's election coming up, and we just cannot make Trump's look good. That's just bad for strategy, you know. He seems want to say that, but you know how politician works, man. Just like talking B, C, D, E, F instead of A. It's just that, I don't know, man. I'm not trying to back the left or right or something. You know, I'm not gonna tell you who's to vote or something. But yeah, just to show that most of the politicians they care too much about their party agenda. You know, they claim to know much about the people they're supposed to represent. It's just they don't. They don't. It's that simple. They sometimes, most of the time, in fact, they're out of touch. They're out of touch with the people they're supposed to be represent. They know what the party wants. They somehow knows what the people wants too, but they somehow put party priority above the people. And that's the case in this. So basically, this makes sense. You know, when you're Nancy Pelosi, when it comes to passing the stimulus bills will make Trump look good, because it's basically giving free money to his people. There's elections coming up, like what, in less than 3 weeks. So passing the stimulus bills will make Trump look good. And when you're Nancy Pelosi or any kind of DNC party members, they're just not ideal. This is just far from ideal. Well, that's my take. I know it's kind of disappointing. It's disappointing. for people like me, low, let's say low to middle class. Hey man, low class, bro. Low class people. It's disappointing. We need these funds, especially during these times. And that's it. Instead, they kept stalling and stalling and stalling it. It's disappointing.